Can Deshaun Watson turn back the clock and help the Browns back into the playoff hunt? Will the Pickett and Pickens Steelers pick their way to the playoffs? Will Lamar Jackson and the Jackson 5 perform at Super Bowl 58? Or will Smokin' Joe finally get a chance to smoke a Super Bowl Cuban? Find out now on the Shred the Spread podcast.
All right, here we go.
So in all likelihood, Deshaun Jackson's going to at least get a return.
Deshaun Jackson gets a block. Are you kidding?
Way downtown. Bang! Oh, what a shot from Curry!
That is a disgusting act by Randy Moss.
Okay, picking.
Facts, you feel me?
That motherfucker was goddamn Edgar Allan Poe with the shits.
You feel me? I had the perfect voice to it too. That little bit of country, that country sweet honey.
You done picked the wrong motherfucker to pick with, Pickens.
Should I pick the Pickens combo?
Welcome to the Shred the Spread podcast, your home for all your NFL sports betting needs. I'm your host, Jared, and today covering the AFC North Divisional Preview.
Yes, sir.
Is my right-hand man, Dynell. What's going on, man? How you feeling?
Man, what's going on, baby? I feel like Ray Lewis right now. We talking about the AFC North. On top of that, a lot of bad blood football, a lot of enjoyable football. But to dissect these numbers, I'm looking at these numbers now, man, and this is going to be tough. This is going to very, very be tough. Literally, I think every team is lined up between the win total is one behind each other. So, I'm ready to dissect this shit, man. I got a little surprise for you, too.
Yeah, this is definitely a very competitive division. And I'll just leave this, a little fun fact just to start this episode. No defensive line in this division is ranked lower than 11th.
Crazy.
That's nuts.
Crazy.
But hey, let's get right into it. We'll work our way from the division favorites down to the longest odds. So we'll go ahead and start with the Bengals. I'll let you take over the floor. What do you got with the Bengals this year, Dynell?
Well, of course, what concerns me with the Bengals is that number, that 11.5 number. Right now, we're kind of iffy on if Joe Burrow was starting. Actually, did they make an update on that yet? With Joe Burrow, if he's starting week 1?
They said he is projected to be back for week 1. That's the latest we heard.
Right. And projected also means that he's not 100% healthy right out the gate, right out the door.
Mm-hmm.
And you're talking about an O-line who still had issues. I mean, and they spent bread. I mean, they spent money on that O-line last year, and they did not cash in. The 11.5 number is high, only considering the fact that, like I said, we don't know what Joe Burrow's injury status is to start out the year. They're in a rugged, tough division. The Ravens got better. The Steelers even got a little bit better with the additions. And, the Cleveland Browns are Cleveland Browns. But we all know that all these games are dogfights. I feel like it's a little too steep for me to bet over. I wouldn't bet the under either, to be honest with you. Like I said, this is a very confident team. They've been together for 3 years. So you wouldn't put chemistry aside it. And I don't see the value in plus 150 for them to win the division. I mean, some people might see the values of it. Like I said, at least it's a plus number, not a negative number. But at the end of the day, I'm not loving the Bengals here.
Yeah, I just see this Bengals team as you said, the game is won at the offensive and defensive line. So offensively, I think they're overachieving. I know I was betting against the Bengals a little bit last year, and I know you were raking in on them. So just looking at the regression of this team and how this division is just structured and the competitiveness, it's just screaming at me to take the under. Not heavy. I definitely am going to be putting a little bit of money on the under. There's no value, like you said, divisionally. The win total, I mean, I have them at about 11 wins. So, it's going to be a coin flip. But I do feel like this team is going to start off slow. Joe Burrow is missing yet another training camp. I don't even know if he's completed a training camp throughout. No. So this might result in the team starting a little bit slow. I would say, if you do like this Bengals team, which a lot of people are, I recommend waiting. If you can catch the Bengals off to a slow start and you get that win total down to like 9.5, I would smash that over.
Oh, right.
So an in-season win total, because some books, they cut it off at like week 6, 7. Some books, they kind of just cut off the beginning of the season. Some go a little bit longer. But depending on which book you guys use, I definitely would try to attack a season win total over around 9.5, what I say was pretty safe. Let's move ahead to the second favorites in the division, and that's the Ravens. They're plus 210 to win the division, and their win total is at 10.5. Just basically what I got on this team is it's the first year in a new system for Lamar. He obviously just got paid. I think my biggest question is, how is this team going to feel about when he wasn't showing up to these playoff games in the end of the season when he was quote unquote hurt? I think the camaraderie of a football team definitely, plays its part in the sport. Just having your captain, your leader at your games, I feel like it plays a really big key into this team. Obviously they have J.K. Dobbins back, Odell Beckham, and Flowers. Flowers has really good flashes in the preseason. But I really think the thing that I'm putting my finger on is this team should have beaten the Bengals in the wild card game. If we remember, Tyler Huntley dove over the line. Instead of just handing the ball off, they had 4 opportunities to just pound the ball in. Tyler Huntley goes over, fumbles the ball, and the Bengals take it all the way back, and that's history. I kind of like this Ravens team this year. I don't know if I can bet the over. There's definitely not really much value in this division. 2-1 in this competitive of a division with too many question marks just doesn't make me too eager to attack that. But I don't know. I just think I'm really eager to see how this team looks in the first year. Obviously, Lamar, they're going to rely on his arm a little bit more than they did last year. What do you think?
Honestly, what's funny about it is the risk you have brought up are definitely valid. Those are very valuable. Honestly, those are very, very good risk and reasons why to kind of stay away from the Ravens, kind of, win division away. But honestly, I'm going to surprise you. I love this team. I honestly love this team on everything. And I'm going to put a little bold statement out there. I got this team actually winning the AFC and going to the Super Bowl this year, 100%. Lamar Jackson finally has a chance to open up his talent in a way. I feel like the variety of play calls did not, it suited one part of his game, and that's his legs, of course. But at the end of the day, when you finally, like I said, expand that playbook a little bit. When you get down early and you're not forced to run play actions, RPOs, and stick with the running game, having that passing game is very, very important. We see it time and time again. That's the reason why the Ravens can't really get over the hump at times. And the fact that you have a refreshing feel and the offensive coordinator Todd Monken, along with Zay Flowers and Odell Beckham, I honestly believe this offense is going to be even more explosive than what it was. And we've seen it cap out with Greg Roman as it was. It was an MVP performance by Lamar Jackson and a top offense in the league. Of course, rushing wise and not passing wise. But in order to fit that balance inside of there, I really feel like this team can really shock people. I guess the one concern I have is, can this team stay healthy? We just saw Marlon Humphrey went down not too long ago, and he's not going to be ready to start this season. And they had the injury bug before. So, I guess that's kind of like the one question. But hey, I'm all in on the risk. I'm taking it all, and I'm taking the money to the bank. I'm putting money into Vegas, Super Bowl odds and everything.
Yeah, I definitely agree that the play calling switch most likely is going to be in favor of Lamar. So losing the play caller isn't that big of a deal. I think it's just learning the system. So, but obviously the play call, if it suits him a little bit better, if it lets him use his playmakers, that's definitely going to put the Ravens in a better position than it did last year. So your favorite were the Ravens.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to move to my favorite.
Uh-oh. I already know what it is.
Dog pound. The dog pound. This is my favorite bet to win the division. You're giving me 4-1. And I'm just looking over this team on paper. It does not make sense to me how they afford this team after paying Deshaun Watson that much money. This just doesn't make sense to me. They have the 6th best defensive line. Myles Garrett, they just brought in Zadarius Smith, and we're getting a discount on this team just because of how poor Watson looked last year. And the public is totally off the Browns. All the value has shifted to the Browns, and the public is literally running away from this team. They have the most value in the division, and the gap in this division is extremely small. So, I'm going to take arguably one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the league, potentially. Obviously, we have 2 other very capable quarterbacks of being in that discussion with Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson in this division. But I love their over win total, 9.5. Although this division is very competitive, with Nick Chubb, Deshaun Watson, it's just, this team just feels right. I think Amari Cooper is going to have a really strong year. I think he's going to get on the same page as Deshaun Watson. I know this is a very unpopular pick just because the Browns have just had no public support. Obviously, the stuff regarding Deshaun Watson, but strictly speaking about football here, I just really think that Deshaun Watson can get his feet back under him, because we got to remember, this guy was carrying a piss poor Houston Texans team to competitive games day in and day out. And that was with Will Fuller.
Impressive.
So, we've got a better route runner with Amari Cooper, probably better hands. He just doesn't have the speed that Will Fuller had, but I just really am high on this Browns team. And I think that 9.5 win total should be 10.5. But I think because of how the public has drawn away from the Browns, I'm getting a really good number here.
Oh yeah, and just to add on to that too, I mean, one of the biggest things that was wrong with Deshaun Watson was his time away from the game. So it wasn't even really his injury based; it was just speed of the game. You had 6 weeks. You had 6 weeks at the end of the season to kind of get acclimated with the speed of the game a little bit, get the feel, get the juices flowing. I mean, of course, they were out of playoff contention. After a while, after a couple losses once he was there. But I mean, let's be honest. Like you said, the speed of the game's going to come to him eventually. There's only going to be a matter of time before he explodes. But like I said, we'll see. That division is very, very tough, and that conference is tough enough to try to explode out of that. But I like the odds on it. I definitely see what you mean with the odds, 4-1.
Yeah, and I mean the biggest thing, just looking at between them and the Ravens, I don't think there's that much big of a gap, but you're getting double the odds for taking the Browns. So I'll take my shot on the 4-1, but I really like the over and their win total. So let's move on to the redheaded stepchild of the division, but they just never seem to go away, and that's the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're plus 470 to win the division, and their win total is 8.5. For those who this should be a public fact that everybody knows, but Tomlin has never finished below 500 in his coaching career
ever.
So you cannot count this team out from competing. Usually, there's a division, there's a team at the bottom that okay, we could beat up on the Texans. We could grab 2 wins off the Texans to help us out with our win total. But this division, that's not the case. The Steelers split a lot with the big dogs in the division, and they always find a way to win games and stay hovering about that that mark. Now, I do have them at 8 wins. So I got them at 8-9, but that's a coin flip. They could steal a game from the Bengals. They have a really good defense, and a lot of people are high on Kenny Pickett this year. But this number is just really a little raw. So I'm not going to force a win total play here. And I don't really see them winning the division unless Kenny Pickett just turns into Tom Brady with legs. But yeah, so I really don't have any value on the win total or the division. What do you got for the Steelers team?
Honestly, like you said, it's really a coin flip. This team's not winning the division, so we can kind of just put that out. For me, I can kind of just put that out the door. But I'm gonna take the over on the win total, only strictly the fact of because the standard is the standard in Pittsburgh. They just don't do it. They just don't do it. Even with Duck Hodges, they just don't do it. I mean, it's incredible. I mean, it's honestly incredible. Now, this is probably the most competitive conference Mike Tomlin has ever probably faced in his coaching career. And let's be honest, this is definitely the most competitive conference Mike Tomlin has ever seen. So this is going to be a challenge unlike any other this year. But like I said, man, the standard's the standard. I mean, I roll with this team just at the strength of that. It's one of those things where I'm not super confident. Oh, touch it. Definitely bet at 9. But, just for the over, just for the hell of it, man. Like that 9 wins. That's 5 over 500. If you want to bet on history, bet on history.
Yeah, so I think you said it perfect. The Steelers, like you said, the standard is the standard. It's hard to take the under win total when they just haven't done it in the Mike Tomlin era. So there you have it. Dynell likes the Ravens. I like the Browns for the AFC North. That'll be the AFC North divisional preview. Stay tuned. Check out any of the NFC previews if you haven't already, and then be on the lookout for all the rest of the AFC divisions to come out. So this has been the Shred the Spread podcast. If you haven't, go ahead and follow the podcast on Twitter at @ShredTheSpread_. You can also check us out on TikTok at Shred the Spread. Until next time, we'll see you.
Peace.